just want to make sure it's really well blended, because otherwise it will show on the finished piece. You'll get a big chunk of paint. Yeah, this one I think I did a little too much paint. That's all right, we'll have a little left. So I'm going to start with, I use the clear resin on the base of this one to give the impression of a beach. So the white will create the waves over top of kind of like wet sand. And I'm going to add a little bit more of this resin to this blue. Hopefully that will be a little better. All right, so you know, with resin, you don't have a paintbrush, and you know, you're painting with just a popsicle stick or your hands to spread it. You're just letting it move and flow where it normally would. So then you kind of want to give it a little hand to get down the edges so you don't get an empty spot. All right. So,
do you have somebody make the cutting boards for you?
I'm buying them now from a company that hand makes them. They're actually, I think, located in Canada, and they're just beautiful, thick maple wood.
Makes sense with the maple.
Yeah, they're beautiful. But I actually met a handmade seller this weekend who makes boards, and I'm going to connect with her to see if we could, you know, partner together, because I would love to have someone local. All right. Let me mix in a different shade of blue just to give it a little dimension. I'm a little afraid of this one because I put a little too much paint in it. So yeah, with resin, it really is about experimentation and enjoying the process of experimenting and not being afraid that something isn't going to turn out, because you can always do another pour on top, cover it up. Then where the magic happens is when I get the heat gun out. So you're actually moving the paint with the pressure and the wind from the heat gun, and then the blowtorch is what creates all the beautiful lacing effects and pops the bubbles from the resin. But you'll see once I do the heat gun, it'll have a look, and then after I do the blowtorch, it'll just change it. So it's all about the angle, and it's about keeping it moving. If you stay in one place too long, you'll burn the resin. Right, so I'm gonna double check. I see this wave got a little long, so I don't want there to be blue. favorite part, the blowtorch. When I learned like you could do art with a blowtorch, I was like, yes. So the secret to this too is that you don't want it too high and you want to just kiss the surface. You'll start seeing it change here in a minute. Once I start on the second one and come back, you'll start seeing the lacing effect, and it pops the bubbles. You want to always keep it moving. If you burn the resin by keeping it in one space too long, it will not work. All right, so we can move to the serving tray. Let me see. I think I want to do. So I'm just moving it around to cover all the edges so that it drips off evenly. And it self-levels. That's what's great about resin too. So that's why you always want to make sure whatever you're working on is a level piece and your table's level, because as it dries, if it's just off a little, it'll all drip off one side. Get it close. And that
I grew up in the flight plan of Seattle Tacoma International Airport.
Oh, so you're used to tuning out too.
I grew up in the Italian Alps.
Yeah, that sounds rough. Yeah, that doesn't sound rough at all.
No, just beautiful, quiet. I heard some people yodel, if anything.
I spent 4 years living in the North Cascades in Washington State. So
Oh,
I know
beautiful.
what you're talking about. The sound of nothing at night except
Right. Do you see how this changed in here? And you can see the little, it's like a lace. It's like lacing, and that's what the torch does. And this will continue to change as it dries. Actually, more effects come out as it dries, and it takes 24 hours to dry. And you want it to dry in a non-dusty, controlled environment. So they're made on a spinner. When your resin will just drip off, so you have to constantly keep it spinning in order for the resin to cure, or it would just all pool to one side. And this one I make with a transparent resin dye so that they're still see-through. And they were a lot of fun to figure out and play with. It was a lot of experimentation until I got the right mix of paint or dye to work with the resin. And I think that's a big part of resin is its chemistry. You know, it's mixing the correct paints or dyes, and if you put too much paint, then it won't set or it'll get gummy. But these are a lot of fun. And so once I figured out these, I did coffee mugs. And the coffee mugs are a lot of fun, but I thought, oh, I've got this, no problem. And as it's turning, I forgot about the handle coming up. So your hand's trying to paint while it's moving, and then you have to jump and dance over the handle. So I would say those were definitely my biggest challenge to figure out how to paint. But they're a lot of fun. All the ones that we started with, we call them the Weeble Wobbles because I did too much paint, so the bottoms bubbled. They're all downstairs in my kitchen.